to appear, which transformed the patterns from simple circles into complex pictograms. This beautiful formation was discovered on August 13th of 2000 at Woodborough Hill in Wiltshire County, England. And this spectacular formation of squares depicted in three-dimensional perspective appeared on June 18, 2000 at Windmill Hill, also in Wiltshire County. On July 22nd of 2002, this beautiful pattern was discovered at South Field near Alton Priors in Wiltshire County. But the most breathtaking crop formation of 2002 was discovered on July 4th at Normantown near the ancient sacred site of Stonehenge in Wiltshire County. It is a magnificent rendering of 6 ribbons furling out from a central circle. Now, those are just some of the more interesting crop formations that have been discovered in recent years. There are many, many more. But these represent a level of sophistication that clearly demonstrates a high degree of intelligence by whoever made them. However, even more interesting than the patterns themselves are the way in which they are created. And there are many mysteries involved in how crop circles are created, which usually occurs at night and in damp weather, but not always. There is corroborating testimony from several credible witnesses that report seeing strange lights in the sky above where crop formations are formed. And the vast size of these formations, some of which cover an entire square acre, would require several people working in the dark for many hours in order to try to create them. And researchers have been unable to find any tracks or any signs of a human presence in the area where crop formations are formed. The stalk of the affected plants inside a crop circle is gently bent over near ground level. There is no crushing, bruising, cutting, breaking, burning, or damage to the crops in any way. In fact, the plants remain in perfect condition and they continue to grow parallel to the ground, coming to full maturity and ripening. The variations in the lay of the crops are as numerous as the variations of the crop circle designs themselves. In many crop formations, the stalks give a clear indication of how and where the energy flowed in making the patterns. Some layers of crops appear to be intertwined and almost braided. Others are laid down in straight lines, but in alternate directions. Michigan biophysicist Dr. W.C. Levengood has examined plants from inside and outside of crop formations in the United States, Canada, England, and Australia. He has found a consistent combination of changes in affected plants, which include enlargement of plant cell pits, reoriented, swollen, and exploded growth nodes, evidence of rapid heating, changes in seed growth, and an increase in metabolic cell respiration. These are samples of unaffected stems taken from plants that were well outside of a crop formation. They are relatively straight. These are samples of plants taken from inside of a crop circle. Dr. Levengood has found that the top growth nodes are bent at an average of 39 degrees from the vertical. He believes that this was caused by rapid heating and expansion, followed by a collapse of the thin cell tissue, which then produced the angled reorientation. These are samples of lower stem growth nodes of affected plants. The arrows are pointing at expulsion cavities. These lower nodes have tissue that is tougher and more mature, which can sustain more pressure and do not collapse as easily as the upper nodes when exposed to rapid heating. Instead, Dr. Levengood concludes that the cell water heats up and bursts out of the lower nodes, causing expulsion cavities. Although subjected to rapid heating, the plants were not dehydrated. Their seeds germinate faster and have a 45% increased growth rate as demonstrated here, with plants from inside, at the edge, and outside of a crop circle. Dr. Levengood has stated that whatever is doing these formations is affecting the fundamental biophysics and biochemistry of the plants. He hypothesizes that crop circles are created with a spinning plasma and microwave energy.
Although the crop formations appear to have very beautiful designs, they also represent a staggering amount of scientific and mathematical knowledge. And much of the information contained within the pictograms is subtle, with hidden complexities of advanced geometry. In addition, many of the formations depict advanced technologies that can be of great benefit to mankind. Let's have a look at some of these incredible formations and examine what they could represent.
This is a depiction of 3 simple crop circles that were found to appear in a formation near each other. It represents only one example of the hidden complexity in their design. It was discovered that the circles were arranged in such a way that a straight line could be drawn between them and have it touch all 3 circles, here, here, and here. In addition, another straight line could be drawn so that it could also touch all 3 circles. Then a third line was found to be able to touch the circles, and this means that the circles were positioned in proportion to their size. This is a depiction of a crop circle formation that was discovered in 1998 in a wheat field near the city of Oud-Beuerlen in Holland. It is by no means a collection of arbitrarily positioned circles and rings. It turns out that this pictogram was remarkably arranged so that a total of 6 straight lines could be drawn in such a way that they exactly touch 3 different circle elements. If any of the circles were of any other size or positioned differently, this would not have been possible. This is an example of a crop formation with the width of the ring pattern being the exact size where a square could be drawn with its corners touching the outside part of the ring and have the inside portion touching the sides. This is an example of a crop formation where the inside circle just happens to be the exact size where an equilateral triangle could be drawn with its corners touching the outside ring and still have the inside circle touching the sides. And this is an example of how the inside circle just happens to be the right size where it would touch the sides of a square if its corners were touching the outside circle. Multiple geometric shapes can be used in crop circle formations, as in this example, where the width of the ring is determined by the use of a square and a triangle is used to establish the size of the inside circle. This is a depiction of a crop formation that was discovered near the village of Melk, Holland, in the summer of 1997. It consists of a small circle in the middle of 3 concentric rings. The ring widths and spaces between the rings are all slightly different. The reason for this is because of a complex set of geometric shapes that were used in its design. The center circle is able to fit within an equilateral triangle with its corners touching the inner ring. This ring fits inside of a square with its corners touching the next ring. These rings then can make it possible for a pentagram, or 5-pointed star, to be used in order to determine the rest of the formation. This is the same crop formation with different geometric shapes that further define its construction. Notice how a pentagon is used to specify the outer diameter in relation to the size of the center circle. Also notice how the inside portion of the second ring is used to create 2 triangles that face in opposite directions in order to form a hexagram or 6-pointed star. When straight lines are drawn between the points of the star, it forms a hexagon shape. And finally, the outside portion of the third ring was found to